The Marksman Pistol doesn't have the fastest fire rate since it literally holds just one bullet. It's not the most accurate weapon and doesn't have the best range either, but it does one thing very well. It has that one-shot potential. It's also worth noting that the Marksman Pistol is unlocked very late in the game, but since this is a challenge, it will be available to me at all times. So in today's episode of playing the game in the most inefficient way, let's find out if it's possible to beat GTA 5 using only the Marksman Pistol. We begin the game in the middle of a bank heist, and instantly the game demands that we point our non-marksman weapon at the hostages to intimidate them, which I refuse to do, and then the other guy does it for me. We then blow the wall door open and collect our 250. As we're about to leave, a guard takes me hostage and unmasks me. Then we switch to the other guy, and guess what? He forgot his Marksman Pistol at home. Jokes aside, this is a scripted event where the game decides what weapon we must use. The only way to progress is to comply with what the game wants us to do. Unfortunately, this won't be the last time this happens, so we'll add a counter to track all the non-Marksman Pistol kills. We then blow our way outside where we are met with heavy resistance. Bad news for the resistance, I'm finally able to switch to the challenge weapon. I clear out the enemies outside, then the ones on the road, until eventually we hop into our getaway car. Meet the crew: Trevor, young Lester, Michael, and, well, doesn't matter. As we're trying to escape the police, a train clips us and forces us to continue on foot. Then they snipe down young Lester.
Brad's gonna be fine!
Never mind, his name was Brad. And Michael gets hit too. We hold our ground as Trevor, but as more cops arrive, he's forced to run. He stumbles upon a random woman, decides to terrorize her for no reason and give her lifelong PTSD before running off into the snowy unknown. We then see a cutscene of Michael years later, in the middle of a therapy session, suggesting his story didn't end with the failed bank heist. Then we switch to the third and final playable character, Franklin, who is in the middle of a repossession job with his homie Lamar. We steal some cars and race through the city, where I almost hit a wizard. Now, I don't know if he was an actual wizard, but that was definitely wizard-like behavior. We then return the cars to Simeon, who runs this whole operation. Basically, Simeon sells the cars to someone, then at a later date, Franklin and Lamar steal them and return to Simeon, leaving the buyer dead and without a car. Simeon sends Franklin and Lamar to repossess a bike. We go through some garages but find no bike. Instead, the locals find us. Lamar turns it into a gunfight and we have to shoot our way out. After pushing forward, we finally spot the guy on the bike we're after. Unfortunately, the Marksman Pistol can't be fired from a vehicle, so to clap the guy we have to step out. He kinda got stuck for a moment, so I took the opportunity, only for Lamar to put his big ass head right in front of him. We continued the chase, and on the second attempt, Lamar then tried to eclipse him. So I clipped the target and took the bike. But a slight problem, we can't repossess a dead man's possessions. So Lamar decides to keep the bike. We head back to Simeon and he gives us another repossession job for a car. It's locked inside the garage, so we have to enter through the house. I sneak past the gardener, climb up to the second floor, sneak past the whole family, and finally get inside. As we're driving off, coincidentally, Michael was taking a nap in the back of his son's Jimmy's car. Michael figures out that Franklin is just doing his job and that Simeon is the one behind it. So he tells Franklin to drive straight into the dealership. We crash through and enter a fist fight. Woo! Juked. Ooh, juked again. Gotcha, bozo. We beat him up, and sure, it wasn't the Marksman Pistol doing the work, but hey, at least we didn't kill the guy. Since Franklin just lost his main money-making activity, he comes by Michael's house to see if he has any similar work. Before they can talk much, Michael gets a call from Jimmy, who says he tried to sell the family's boat, but instead the buyers took it. We catch up to the boat on the highway and get close enough for Franklin to jump aboard. Once he climbs up, an enemy appears. As soon as Franklin deals with him, another one comes out. But this one pins him down, and this is where we have to shoot him. Now, again, can't shoot while driving, so my only option is to exit the car and quickly take the guy down. It took a few attempts, but eventually I hit him. We then catch Jimmy, who was hiding on the boat, and then also Franklin. The chase gets interrupted when the car's engine gives out, so we drive it to the mechanic and Michael tells Franklin to come see him later. I then switch to Franklin and head home. And on the sidewalk, I spot this funny running cat. Look how silly it is. Now, the next frame of the video got corrupted for some reason, but I promise you, the cat is alright. When Franklin gets home, Lamar shows up with a proposition. Kidnap a guy from the Ballas gang and get ransom money. We try to catch him off guard, but Lamar spooks him and the guy accelerates so fast it gives me frame drops. We chase him long enough until he falls off his bike, then continue the pursuit on foot with our dog Chop. At some point the guy gains some distance and we lose sight of him. We switch to Chop so he can sniff him out. However, he takes a little detour to get his sillies out, and after a second search attempt, we finally find the guy hiding in one of the wagons. Chop bites him down, but as we're getting him in the van, the Balla dude recognizes Lamar. To make matters worse, Lamar calls for ransom money using his personal phone. Franklin decides to pull the plug on the whole operation and lets the Balla dude go. Lamar, of course, isn't happy, but it's better than the alternative. We head over to Michael's place where we see a dude running out of the house but naked. Turns out Michael's wife, Amanda, has been sleeping with the tennis coach. We chase the coach down until an indestructible RV blocks our path and we lose him. We pick up his trail again on a dusty road that leads to a house on a hill. The coach is all like, haha, you can't reach me. And Michael goes, well, if the mountain won't go to Muhammad, Muhammad shall come to the mountain, and proceeds to bring the supports down, making the house collapse. Then the coach calls saying that wasn't his house. A few seconds later, a crazy woman grabs the phone and yells that Madrazo gave us the green light. A moment later, that green light appears in form of two cars that try to kill us. Now, while Franklin was shooting, he wasn't exactly hitting anything. I lost the first car because I crashed and the enemies got out, and you won't believe how I lost the second car, by crashing again and them getting out. I was about to fail miserably right at the end of the mission, but this absolute champion came in clutch and saved me. Then Madrazo himself pulls up. This guy's cartel, and it turns out it was his house we destroyed. He estimates the damage to be around 2.5 million mark, then gives Michael the Mexican handshake and leaves. Sometime later, seeing how Michael has a $2.5 million problem, he calls up his old heisting buddy, Lester. Now, Lester is basically what I imagine how the average Reddit moderator lives. But unlike them, he's actually highly intelligent. Before we can get back into heisting, he asks for a favor. We sneak into a tech company, do some unpaid labor, and modify a phone for a big presentation later. Then we go home, watch the said presentation, and then there's this little notification asking us to like the video. Instead, we call the modified phone and make the CEO's head explode. We go back to Lester and agree to do a jewelry store heist. First, we need to scout the place. He gives us glasses with a hidden camera, and I try to be funny and take a picture of him implying he's a gem. But he doesn't like it. Then I sent him a picture of a woman's back and he doesn't like that either. I sent him a picture of a dude and he told me to lock in. We get the intel inside the building and the air vents above it. We go back with the information and select the smart approach for the heist. As I'm getting to another mission, I bump a bike and he full thrusts into a wall and disappears. I'm telling you, this city is full of wizards. Once Michael gets home, he decides to spend some time with the family, so he and Jimmy go biking. Sometime during, Jimmy says his daughter Tracy is on the inappropriate yacht. Michael goes together, and the fellas on the yacht feel disrespected and come after us. I find a nice straight canal and outspeed them. While that's happening, Franklin gets a visit from Lamar and this other dude, Stretch. Once again, they have a profitable business opportunity, which of course turns into a setup and we have to shoot our way out. We clear the upper floor, then the halls, and finally the warehouse. Outside, a helicopter is waiting for us. I shoot it down, and once we climb over the wall, there's a car waiting for us. We evade the cops and yeah, just an average day in the hood. I go back to Michael and prepare the jewelry heist. I get the Buckstar van and steal another van with the knockout gas. After getting the requirements, we call up the team. Franklin goes first and drops the knockout gas into the vents. Once the people inside go to sleep, the rest of the crew goes in and snatches the goods. We hired a great hacker who gives us plenty of time inside. However, the same can't be said about the two goons. The first goon crashes his bike and drops the loot, so I have to pick it up. The second goon, whose name is Karim, and that's the only reason I took him because he reminded me of Karim Benzema, forgets which tunnel we're supposed to take. To make matters worse, our escape didn't shake off the police. So as Michael, we ran the cop cars until they stopped pursuing us. We then load the bikes and the goods in the van and take off. The heist gets all over the news, and one of the witnesses repeats Michael's classic line, which puts Trevor in disbelief that maybe after all these years, Michael didn't die in that town. A biker shows up because Trevor was diddling his girlfriend, so Trevor kills him and takes a very pragmatic approach by killing the rest of the bikers too. We rile them up and follow them as they drive back to their base. The two bikers following the van became pedestrians, and the guys at the trailer park became a part of a vulture's diet. I felt merciful and spared Ortega, the guy running schemes in this part of town. Now, Trevor is loud, violently impulsive, and definitely clinically insane, but he's also a very good businessman we can actually learn from. Just take a look how he runs Philip Enterprise. As an international businessman, he's always on the lookout to expand his reach. We set up a meeting for a potential product deal and give the Chinese fellas a tour of our operation. But the Ortega boys come back to settle the score. We hide the Chinese fellas somewhere safe for the time being and go defend one side of the building. Then the other. Some of the gang members make it inside because I'm not shooting them fast enough. Then Ortega shows up, and I don't spare him this time. The Chinese fellas are highly impressed, and we move on to the next step in successful business making: hostile takeover. Why make your own product when you can just take someone else's? Now, educationally speaking, this mission is great. Challenge-wise, not so much. We have the freedom to use other weapons, but we can't leave the area. And the Marksman Pistol doesn't shoot that far, so we're forced to use the sniper rifle for 9 kills. We then climb down and clear around the hangar near the plane we're trying to steal. Next, we climb onto its wing and try to survive the airstrip. While the game restricts our weapon choice to a rifle, it also unlocks Trevor's special ability, massively increasing damage resistance. We use this to survive the bullet rain, and while it takes a few attempts to get a hang of, eventually the plane takes off. Then we hijack a completely different plane for ourselves. A biker tries to recreate what he just saw, but unfortunately for him, he doesn't take into account that a plane in the air can do this. For his sake, I hope he unlocked the fall damage resistance ability. For my sake, what the f was that cactus made of? We land the planes, and it's time for another business strategy: eliminating competition. If you're the only one selling, you take all the available profits. We raid some inbred hillbilly camp and reduce their family tree by about 10%. We also burn their camp so that the remaining 90 can't restart the operation. With us successfully taking over the region, Trevor decides to find Michael in Los Santos. But not before going back to the bikers camp, clearing it out one more time, and blowing it up. Again, eliminating competition. Very smart. When Trevor arrives in Los Santos, he stays at Wade's cousin's place, and Wade is like one of his minions. Trevor comes to visit Michael at his house. The reunion is tense but interrupted because Tracy is doing a talent show audition. Being absolutely talentless, Trevor helps Michael save her from the embarrassment. The producer is a sleazy bastard who doesn't respect other people's personal space. So we chase him through the city, and once he stops, make the fool dance without his pants and let him go. Michael runs to Dave, his handler at the FIB, saying the guy he sold 10 years ago is back. Trevor doesn't know Michael is the one responsible for their failures that day, and he thinks Brad is in prison and not dead because he never saw him die, and the FIB has been sending messages in his name. The facade is still on, but it's only a matter of time before he figures it out. Since the jewelry heist attracted a lot of attention, the FIB is looking into it, and it would be great to have an FIB agent inside who could cover for us. But there's a lot of turbulence behind the scenes. So to balance things out, Dave makes us run a few off-the-books jobs for the FIB. The first is verifying a body at a morgue. We sneak in posing as a dead body and give PTSD to these two doctors. We confirm the body isn't actually there and next have to escape. I don't know, but these guys seem to have better aim, and as crazy as it sounds, work together. So this wasn't a first try mission. Once I figured out the timing of their spawns, it became manageable. We escape the police, yap to Dave, yap to Franklin, and go do yoga. During the session, Michael finds out his wife has been sleeping with the instructor. Then he goes to hang out with his son, gets his drink spiked, takes an acid trip, wakes up butt naked outside, and comes home to a letter from Amanda saying she left him. I switch back to Trevor.
And that, in a nutshell, is why trickle-down economics is a load of shit.
Hey, he knows his stuff. He's up almost 5%. Trevor, Wade, and the cousin go steal something at the port, and the cousin mentions cargo being protected by Merryweather, which is a private army. If an entity like that is involved, there's a lot of money to be made. Trevor does some unpaid work, scouts the place, takes a few pictures, and steals a briefcase containing confidential information about the shipment. We return to the cousin's place, put everything we know about the shipment together, and create a heist plan. I go with the fried approach, and we call in Michael to inform him of a potential upcoming score. I also notice Trevor is like a toxic sludge, just turning everything around him to shit. Literally. Dave pulls Michael into a meeting where we are introduced to Steve Haynes, Dave's higher-up. They say the guy who was supposed to be dead at the morgue is actually at the International Affairs Agency station and we must extract him. They call in Franklin and Trevor. Trevor flies the plane while Michael makes his way down. When we see the guy, we smash through the glass and grab him. Then switch to Franklin, who is providing support. Again, the game makes the weapon choice for us, so we must take 9 kills with a sniper rifle and switch to Michael to take 3 more with a regular pistol. Then they send helicopters after us. I shoot down 1 with Franklin and then fly around as Trevor and let Michael deal with them. When we land, the guy is super happy we saved him, only to realize he's being re-kidnapped. I go as Franklin and Lester tasks him with assassinating a CEO. And good thing there's only one CEO because I only have 1 bullet. After a long day of assassinating CEOs, Franklin wants to head home and unwind. But his rest is interrupted by Lamar. And for some reason Trevor. All of us go on another brilliant business opportunity Lamar set up. We head over to Grove Street to buy some product, but the seller tries to cheat us and the exchange becomes a shootout. They keep throwing bodies at us and I hit this sick double kill. As we push forward, we attract the police. We decide this isn't a fight we want and run down the canal to steal some jet skis. Franklin splits from us, so Trevor and Lamar clear the cops up the hill. We jump into a police car and find a closed off section to hide from the police. Sometime later, the FIB calls in Michael and Trevor to get some answers from the guy we extracted. The FIB needs someone taken out. The guy in the chair is difficult and refuses to give a description. We keep switching between Michael and Trevor as he extracts more information until we identify the target and take the shot. Steve orders to take him out, but Trevor lets him go. Heavily bruised and probably crippled, but he lets him go. Now, it's been a while, but it's time to get back to the Merryweather shipment heist. For our approach, we need a submarine. There is one on a ship protected by a single guard. We steal it, call in the crew, and head to the shipment, where we have to shoot down 2 dudes to progress. Next, Michael plants a C4 stick, and this is where I realized I don't want to do stealth, and start blasting.
Anyway, I started blasting. Bang!
I plant another stick of C4, die, plant the rest of them, and then Michael goes to plant more inside. The counter goes wild as reinforcements arrive. And it's not even over because we have to take out 6 more so Michael can make an escape. We trigger the explosives and as everything sinks, we use the submarine to pick up the device and bring it to the surface. It turns out that was a super weapon Trevor wanted to sell to the Chinese. So to avoid ending up on every possible watch list, we have to throw that thing back. Meaning no payday. The FIB are in a similar situation, only they want to take someone else's funding and need us to do it. Michael comes up with a plan for the robbery, for which we'll need masks, a tow truck, a garbage truck, some boiler suits, and a getaway vehicle. The plan is straightforward. We block the road with the garbage truck to force the armored van to stop, then ram it with the tow truck and blow its doors open. We take the valuables out and are met with a large wave of police and SWAT teams. They come from both sides and I have to make sure they don't completely flank us. After we take out the first wave, a second one appears. We take out the snipers on the roof, blow up a helicopter, and deal with what's left. We then make our way to the getaway vehicle and try to blow up the garbage truck. But as I start shooting it, some local fellas get provoked and start shooting back. Once I deal with everything, we get in our car and drive off. Sometime later, Michael drags our group into working for this rich Muppet, Devin Weston. He wants us to steal some very expensive cars. We provoke the owners into a street race and race along the highway until Michael and Trevor, disguised as police, pull them over. We tell them to step outside and get in the cars ourselves. We ask for compensation for the 2 cars we delivered and the Muppet says no, the deal was 5. So no money until the rest are in his possession. For the 3rd car, Franklin and Trevor work together. They get a chopper with facial recognition and follow the owner to a garage where Franklin tries to steal the car, but the guy gets away. We follow the car in the chopper, providing Franklin its location. It goes into a multi-story parking lot where we lose sight. Using heat detection, we have to locate him.
Hey, that ain't. Damn. These places stink. Stank ass motherfucker.
Oh man, that line gets me every time. No, that's not a guy. No, our target is hiding on the left side of the building. We take the car and now have 3 left. Meanwhile, Michael is introduced to a filmmaker, Solomon Richards. He's having trouble with a stubborn actor and sends us to bring him back to his senses. The difficult part is getting to him without alerting his guards. So after I take out the first guard, I have to quickly take out the other 2. Then climb to the upper section and let the guards pass so I can sneak to the helipad. We find the actor's agent who wants a fist fight. Problem is, I don't. I pull out my pistol to make him raise his hands, then proceed to beat him up. We make our point and take the actor to the movie set. Then Michael gets a call from Madrazo saying he has a job for him and to take Trevor on this. Someone is testifying against him and that someone needs to be eliminated. There is also no mention of pay. Michael uses a van with a special weapon provided to us. Our target is in a plane, and to force it to land, we shoot down the engine. We switch to Trevor and follow it until it crashes. Then take out the target and seize the evidence. While Michael is busy destroying the van, Trevor, tired of working for free, kidnaps Madrazo's wife. So the 2 must lay low for a while. While that happens, Franklin is on to the next car for Devin. This one is at the movie studio. We simply walk up and take it. The fellas didn't want to give it away for free, so they sent 2 cars to chase us. And I mean, they really don't want to give it away for free. So we drop a few spikes and make them. As we deliver the car, Lamar makes an appearance, and Devin invites him for the last car steal. While Trevor and Michael are hiding in the desert, one of Trevor's minions reports a large cache of weapons being transported by Merriweather in a cargo plane. We take a small plane, fly it into a big plane, clear the guards, take out the pilot, and hijack the cargo plane. Then 2 jet planes intercept us and shoot us down, forcing Trevor to abandon the plane. Again, not getting paid. Next, the FIB need us to investigate a research lab developing nerve gas. Not only do they want us to do the job, they also don't have the funding for the equipment and make us come up with the money. We call Lester and check out a potential bank to rob. We go around looking and also check the response timer of the police. We select the crew and the approach, and now only preparations remain. Right after, Franklin calls Trevor that the hillbilly family Trevor decimated are coming for revenge. Franklin chases them until they crash and scatter through the woods. Trevor flies in Michael to snipe them. I get 2, but the 3rd fires an RPG and makes things difficult. Franklin sends Chop to sniff him out, and once located, I shoot him down and all 3 of us fly off. Soon after, I prepare for the bank heist. We need military hardware, so we intercept a convoy and steal a truck containing it. I try to get away without any conflict, but unfortunately for them, they catch up to me. Right at the end, as I'm about to deliver the truck, another convoy shows up. Though, I'm not sure you can call a single guy a convoy. With everything in check, it's time to do the bank heist. The first part is pretty simple. We walk in, trip the alarm, open the vault, and collect the money. Then we change into something more appropriate and go ham on the police surrounding us. We deal with the first wave, down a chopper, and continue advancing ahead, killing anyone who tries to stop us. As we make it through the backyards and back to the streets, we're met with SWAT units and have to deal with them. Then we walk into a construction site where we meet military resistance. As we're clearing them out, they start preparing tanks. We switch to Franklin and with the bulldozer pick up the crew and drive to a factory. Inside we force our way forward, and somewhere in the middle they do a little bit too much damage. So I wait a bit to regenerate my health. After the little break, we make our way to the rail station and jump in one of the wagons. Then we stop to give the money to the FIB for the lab raid and get tossed a small chunk of it into our pockets. We go back to the trailer house where Trevor's minions scouted another score for us. Valuables being transported by a train. This time we take Michael in on it. The first step is to get on the train. I don't know why this was difficult, but it was. After getting to the conductor's cabin, we get to enjoy the beautiful landscape of Blaine County. While Michael arrives by boat, Trevor causes a train crash, and some of the containers drop into the river. We blow open the door and Michael goes inside searching. Suddenly, Merriweather shows up to protect the wreckage. We deal with the boats, we deal with the choppers. I use the thermal scope to find the snipers on the bridge because they were really hard to spot and shoot them. Then 2 paratroopers land thinking they would do something, they die thinking, and Michael finally finds what we were searching for. We start our getaway as 2 boats chase us. I use Trevor's ability to tank as much damage as possible before switching to Michael, entering the sea and losing the bozos chasing us. We get on shore where the 2 get into an argument about the statue they stole. Trevor wants to sell it, understandably tired of not getting paid. Michael, on the other hand, wants to give the statue to Madrazo to make amends for the kidnapping, so he doesn't have to live in a trailer with Trevor and some random senior for the rest of his life. Michael promises Trevor the biggest score imaginable, the one they always dreamed about, the Union Depository, but only if he gives him the statue. Trevor's hesitant but reconsiders and gives the statue. We don't have much time to think because right after we get a call from the FIB saying the lab research raid is ready. We arrive at the gathering place and Steve goes, "Hey, where are those other 3 guys?" And we go, "What other 3 guys?" So the FIB agents tangle along. We dive down and cut an entrance to the underwater exhaust shaft, swim through the tunnel and enter the facility. Unfortunately for the people inside, I'm doing a challenge. We move forward until we find the nerve toxin, carefully extract it, and as we're about to leave, an alarm goes off. We shoot our way out from the halls to the garage and carefully place the toxin into a refrigerator. We fly in as Trevor and pick up the refrigerator, place it on the truck and land the plane. Michael gets a message that Lester settled the statue with Madrazo, and then we see Trevor returning the wife. So Madrazo is no longer an issue and we can focus on our biggest heist yet. Of course, we need a place to prepare for it. We go back to Wade's cousin's place, but they don't want to see Trevor there no more, which gets Trevor very emotional. And then the woman gets emotional, and then the cousin gets emotional, which leads to... yeah. We relocate to a new base and then call in the crew to start planning the Union Depository heist, which involves stealing 200 million worth of gold. We split into 2 groups and gather intel about the depository. I go in as Trevor accompanied by Lester. First, we track the armored vans so we can spot an opening to hijack them. Then we hover over a construction site so Lester can assess our escape route. Once that is done, Michael goes home, where Trevor comes in uninvited. They get into a heated argument and Trevor asks if Michael is alive, who is buried in his grave. He runs to see it for himself and gets a head start. So Michael arrives to find he already dug up the grave, and inside is Brad. The 2 reach a boiling point, but suddenly are interrupted by some Chinese fellas Trevor pissed off. Trevor runs off, and Michael has to shoot his way out. Slowly but surely, I keep pressing ahead. They definitely could have got me, but this random medkit on the outside of the church's wall comes in clutch. I clear the last of them and hop into my car, where Trevor left a parting gift by sabotaging it. A few seconds later, the Chinese fellas catch up. Now Lamar calls saying he's stolen the last car for Devin. We pick it up and load it into a car mover, where we see Trevor waiting. For a while, they just yap, until a police car tries to pull us over. Franklin gets out and fires up the car from the movie studio. With it, we drop spikes for the police cars behind us. The most annoying thing is when the police car's tires pop. It takes away the camera away from my car and focuses on the police one, while I still have to drive. I almost always lost control and ended up crashing into a random tree I didn't even see. Once we get rid of them, we deliver the cars to Molly, Devin's assistant. And when it's time to discuss payment, Molly says they'll reinvest the money from the stolen cars and pay us once there's no more unwanted attention.
Which is a polite way of saying I'm getting robbed? Are you fucking kidding me?
Instantly, Franklin tries to call Michael about the payment issue. After all, he was the one who introduced him to Devin. But Michael's not picking up, so he calls Lester, who says Michael went completely dark. We meet up with Trevor, who's likely the last guy who saw Michael, and he goes, "Yeah, some Chinese fella snatched him, I don't care, he's dead to me." We call Lester again and he sends us a tracker to locate Michael's phone. It leads to a slaughterhouse, and it's really good the timer stopped because there is no way I could have done it on a timer. I died twice before I could get to Michael, and even on my third attempt, I barely made it. When we do get to Michael, we toss him a pistol. Unfortunately, the wrong one. There's no way to tank this one since Franklin's shooting is really bad and really random. So I try my best to hit them in the leg and let Franklin get the kill. But even then, I had 5 accidents where I took the kill. I clear a corner where I get ambushed, and then we switch back to Michael, who must take a shot to get him off Franklin. We then make our way out of the slaughterhouse by eliminating the rest of the pissed off Chinese fellas, and as we're getting away, a high-speed car catches up to us and pops my tire. There's no way I could have gotten away in that condition, so I took theirs. Not long after, we go to the filmmaker, and we see Solomon being gut punched by the agent we dealt with a while back. Solomon asks to take him out, and we chase the agent. I ram the guy off the road and give myself an opening to shoot the driver. I'm not even kidding, I missed him twice with Michael's ability active. In the back of my mind, I already saw the mission failed screen, but to my surprise, the driver exited the vehicle and ran for it. I take out the guard and chase the agent on foot. He's a good runner, and honestly, when I saw the distance he made, the mission failed screen again lingered for a second, but I make the shot and he's gone. Solomon calls and tells Michael to come see him, where he shows he put Michael's name as an associate producer in the movie credits. Right after, Michael goes to visit Lester, where the FIB boys barge in, saying they have one last job for us. It's something to do with evidence and requires us to get inside the bureau building and destroy the evidence. So this calls for another heist. We instantly start preparing, and the first thing we need is a way to get in. So we follow a janitor and enter his apartment. We ask for his uniform and ID, and he gives it to us. Dude's really chill. When we come back, Lester stumbled upon a slight problem. He can't get a hold of the blueprints to the bureau building, which of course we need if we're going to navigate that building. So we send Franklin after an inspector who has them. I follow him until he's all alone, pull a gun on him, and take his briefcase. This part was really unrealistic because once the construction workers saw me stealing the briefcase, they tried to fight me and even called the police on me. Unrealistic because no construction worker will deliberately fight to get more work. But anyways, we got the building's blueprints. Once we come back, I select the fire approach and pick the team. Then there's a moment where Michael reunites the family and all of them go living back together. Basically a filler mission, but worth mentioning story-wise. Next up, Michael enters Solomon's office, where he sees Devin and Molly sitting there. For the longest time, Devin wanted to buy the film studio so he could destroy it and build an apartment complex. And finally, they found a loophole allowing them to do so. Molly grabs the film and Solomon begs Michael to do something about it. And he does. We chase Molly to the airport, then at the airport, then she said,
"That man's a murderer! He wants to kill me!"
but was completely wrong because she did it herself. We call Solomon and he tells us there was a bit of miscommunication. That wasn't the only movie. We have digital copies. And he also found a way to close Devin's loophole by greenlighting a premiere, to which the whole Michael's family is invited. We pick out a nice tuxedo, a nice limo, and arrive with Jimmy to the premiere. The rest of the family will arrive later. We see Devin, who didn't appreciate Molly getting turned into mincemeat, implied that the rest of his family is in danger. At the house, a massive shootout breaks out. As they clear the driveway, Michael runs to go see his family, but the last guy ambushes him and knocks him down. Then Jimmy comes out to pad his KDA and knocks out the last guy. What a premiere! I go prepare for the bureau heist. We get ourselves a getaway vehicle and a fire truck and start the raid. Michael poses as a janitor, and we mop the floor, placing C4 sticks all around. When you know the janitor is about to blow up the building, but you just can't prove it yet. Once the explosives are in place, we leave the building and get into a fire truck, detonate the C4 and pose as the first response unit. We run to the upper floor and grab the evidence. The building starts collapsing and we have to hurry. We lose one fella due to an explosion, then I almost lose my life due to an explosion. We get separated and the remaining FIB agents in the building know we're not actual firefighters. It's really dark in here and the dudes just kind of blend. The reason I was able to kill them is because the dot turned red on enemy detection. We run up the building saying, "We tried our best, it is what it is." Then destroy the truck and take off. But there's really no time to celebrate because right after, Dave calls. We meet him face to face and Michael wants out. He did everything they asked him to. Suddenly, Steve shows up and says it's not that simple. Whatever trouble he had reached the tipping point and he's afraid Michael will testify against him. Then we have a classic standoff as more and more parties arrive. I clear the enemies surrounding me and make my way towards the exit, where a helicopter pins Michael down. Then we see Trevor having the same helicopter in his sights. We take the shot and I switch to the challenge weapon and clear the way for Dave to cross. Then switch characters to Michael, shoot down another helicopter, and make my way to Dave. I take down another helicopter and then clear the parking lot for a getaway. Just as I was about to leave, another helicopter shows up. It was about to make me return to the previous checkpoint, but the dumbass pilot flew into a stone pillar and exploded. We then get back together with Trevor and resume the plans to go after the Union Depository heist. Meanwhile, Franklin's ex shows up and says Lamar is in serious danger. We call Lester for any useful information about the sawmill where Lamar is being kept at, and also call Michael and Trevor. When we regroup, Michael stays on the hill while Franklin and Trevor hit them from behind. I start the assault and make my way along the wall, then flank the Bala fellas and get another sick double kill. Lamar joins us and we push towards Michael. And right at the end, Michael is getting pushed. So I clear what remains of the enemies up on the hill. Then we all grab a car and split. Now the only thing left for us is the Union Depository heist. I select the crew and choose the subtle approach, for which we'll need cars for the getaway and also police stingers that can be obtained in a police van.
I'm off in a couple hours. Let's see that new one, the one that just came out. It's about the finance guys. What's it called? Meltdown.
Buddy is discussing a film he's going to see, but he doesn't know he's going to be jobless in a couple of hours. Michael then gets a phone call from Jimmy, who's been kidnapped. Again, this mission is filler and probably not required to complete, but I just want you to see the funny.
And I'm like his nemesis. Ah!
That's it, funny over. Then we get the 3 cards required for the getaway and I spare no money tuning them. With the requirements met, it's time to start the heist. We dress up like security and near the tunnel entrance blow out the van's tires. We get the guards out and round them up, then quickly change the tires back. We keep one fella who will sneak us in and arrive at the Union Depository as guards. Once inside, we go to the vault, take out the gold, and load it into our trucks. As our goons load the gold into the getaway vehicle, Merriweather still finds our location and turns it into a gunfight. Trevor is perfect for this scenario because of his special ability, but that doesn't mean I can't fail. So the next time Franklin gets pinned down, I don't neglect him and we deal with Merriweather. As we're getting away, I guess one of the goons was a double agent because how the f to explain this? Even with that attempt to put me down, we still make it and successfully pull off the heist of the century. Everyone got together to celebrate, but the internal conflict between Michael and Trevor still remains. We all get at each other's throats and the celebration is cut short. Sometime later, Franklin is chilling at his crib, and Devin shows up telling him Michael has to go. Previously, the FIB said the same thing about Trevor. So right now his options are A. Kill Michael, B. Kill Trevor, or C. Remain loyal and save both.
A, B, or C. Time's ticking, pal. Beep, beep, beep. And your answer is...
It's C. It's always C. We go to Lester for advice and he comes up with a setup plan. Since our group is a high value target, if we reveal our location, we'll definitely draw out all the parties that want us dead. We also call up Lamar so he can give us a heads up when SWAT and Merriweather arrive. Michael and Trevor are still not getting along, but seeing how high the stakes are, they set the drama aside for now. Let the final onslaught begin. They come in wave after wave and even start killing each other. As we clear a few dozen of them, Lamar has trouble outside. We rush to help him and a few seconds later, Trevor stops responding. So Michael goes to check on him. Once we locate him, he's like, hee, I wanted to see if you care. And then the SWAT does the most disrespectful drive-by I've seen all game. So we restart and go back to Trevor. We clear the inside out and go help Franklin outside. We clear the helicopter, the fellas, everyone. Then discuss how to tie up loose ends. We decide the parties to be taken care of are Steve Haynes at the FIB, the Chinese triad boss who went after Michael and Trevor, Stretch for some reason, and Devin Weston, the billionaire. Steve is filming a show on the observation wheel, and I thought it would be funny to stand behind him so the camera would slowly show my face. But no, the bastard noticed me and ruined everything. He tried to stay still, maybe the predator won't notice me, but that didn't work for him.
All right, I'm at the courts. I think I know which one Stretch is.
Oh, that's great, but I don't. So I shot a few random ones and got lucky. I put down the single guy chasing us and we switched to Franklin. I shot a couple of times at the triads and they decided they wanted the smoke and exited the vehicle. Once the boss was down, I took off and got really fortunate they didn't follow up with a lucky bullet. I made my escape up the hill and one of the following cars just nope and did a 180 letting me go. Meanwhile, Trevor got Devin's location. I love how I took down multiple battalions throughout the game and this dude thinks 7 people are going to protect him. We snatch him and tell the others the meeting place. Then everyone tells him what a dirtbag he is and we let him go. Well, we let go of the car. He's definitely dead. As for the challenge, even though the counter is in double digits, I had lots of fun making this. If you enjoyed the video, leave a like. If you have any suggestions or just want to say hi, leave a comment. And yeah, thanks for watching and I'll see you soon.